Test 2-1 PreAP. Find another expression that has the same solution as 4/3 divided by 1/2. Can you rewrite this division expression as a equivalent multiplicative or multiplication expression? So 4/3, so we turn the division to a multiplication, and then we do the reciprocal of 1/2, because we want to know how many halves go into 4/3. It's 2, 1. You multiply across 8/3. Oh, we don't have to solve it. Let's see. 4/3 times 2, 1. B is the answer. Some of you may have learned at Patterson Elementary School, keep, change, flip. KCF. It's the same thing for subtraction to addition as turning a division a fraction into a multiplication expression. So you keep the first number, you change the operation, and then you flip 1/2 to 2, 1. I think that's what they teach at Patterson. But what we do is we do the reciprocal of the second number. Albert bought 5.2 yards of fleece fabric to make blankets for charity. He needs 0 and 6/500 yards of fabric for each blanket. How many blankets can Alfred make with the fabric he bought? There are multiple ways to solve this. You could make a table. One blanket needs 0 and 6/500. 2 blankets will need 1 and 30/100. 3 blankets will need 1 and 95. 4 blankets will need 2 and 60/100, and continue and continue and continue. Or you can set it up as a division problem. How many groups of 6/500 go into 5 2/10? Again, to divide decimal, we need to turn this divisor into a whole number. So how do you turn 6/500 to a whole number? You multiply it by 100, multiply 100, or you can move the decimal 2 places to the right, move this 2 places to the right, so it's 520. How many groups of 65 go into 520? It goes in not 4 times, let's say 8 times. Perfect. And which one makes sense? A is correct. Let's think about it. Look at our table. 4 blankets needs 2 and 60/100. Our goal was to reach 5 and 20/100. If you double this, you'll get 8. Next one. Number 3. Which expression is not equivalent to the expression 1/4 divided by 4/5? So some of them I can tell are multiplication, some of them are still division. So 1/4 is 1 divided by 4. I think the decimal equivalency is 25/100. 4/5 is 4 divided by 5. I think the decimal equivalency is 0.8. So this is the same. So it's asking which one is not equal to it. So these matches. So here's all multiplication. So what I could tell, they turned this division expression into a multiplication expression. So 1/4 times, what's the reciprocal of 4/5? 5/4. So this one works. 1/4, 1/4. 5/4 is equivalent to 1 and 25/100. Wait, they flipped the first number. And it's for those who want to pass it was KCF, keep, change, flip. You flip the second one, so that's why that's one wrong. So this is one that's not equivalent to the others. Which of the following shows the correct multiplication expression for 5/2 divided by 1/3? So we have 5/2. So they want you to rewrite this using a multiplication expression. They want us to rewrite this using a multiplication expression. So 5/2 times, what's the reciprocal of 1/3? 3, 1. B is the answer. Ted collected 3/4 of a bag of leaves. So imagine this is how many leaves Ted collected. Marissa, on the other hand, collected 1/4 as many bags of leaves as Ted. So she collected 1/4 of this. Is that less, more, equal? Let's think about it. She collected 1/4 of the 3/4. So you start with 3/4, 1/4. Is 1/4 less than 1 whole? Is that less? It is. So she's collecting a portion, a part of it. So she didn't collect 1/4. She didn't collect more. The answer is less. So she only collected like this portion of it. 1/4 of what Ted collected, so much less. So when you multiply by a fraction or number that's less than 1 whole, it will make the quantity decrease. When you multiply by a number that's more than 1 whole, it will increase the quantity. Brandy has a new job. On Monday, she worked 12 hours. Ugh. On Wednesday, she worked 1/4 as long as she did on Monday. So she worked 1/4 of the 12 hours. So another way to say it is, what's 12 groups of 1/4? 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Or you can multiply across, because the word of does mean multiply. So that's 12/4 or 3 hours. So which statement is true? Brandy worked more hours on Monday than on Wednesday. A is the only one that makes sense. Number 7. Chris set a goal to sell 12 fundraiser cards. So the goal is to sell 12 cards. On Monday, he sold 1/3 of his goal, 1/3 of 12. So what's 1/3 times 12? Or 12 groups of 1/3. It's 12 thirds or 4 cards. He didn't do a good job, did he? On Tuesday, he sold 3/2 of his goal of 12. What's 12 groups of 3/2? That's 36 halves or 18 cards. There, he did a really good job on Tuesday, didn't he? So which statement is true? A, he sold more cards than his goal on Monday. No, he didn't. He did a horrible job on Monday. Next one. On both Monday and Tuesday, he sold fewer cards. No, he didn't. He did a really good job on Tuesday. He sold fewer cards than his goal on Monday, but more cards than his goal on Tuesday. C is the answer. On Tuesday, he did really good. Again, you could have done this without mathematics. If he sold only 1/3, that's less than 1/whole. That's only a portion of the 12. That means it's less. If he sold 3/2, that's more than 1/whole. So you're multiplying by more than 1/whole. That increases the quantity. Number 8. If you simplify the expression 6/5 times 10, how would you describe the solution? So what's 6/5 of 10? Is this 6/5 more than 1/whole or less than 1/whole? It's more. It's going to increase our quantity. B is the answer. But if you got to show what's 10 groups of 6/5, 65, or 12, see it increase the quantity. Solve this. 7.5 divided by 1.5. How many groups of 1.5? If you want to, you can do it with pictures. Here's 7.5. How many groups of 1.5? 1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 groups, 4 groups. So I know it's going to be 4. So how many 1.5 go into this half? So we know it's going to be 4 and something. So 7 and 1/2 divided by 1.5. So turn this into an improper fraction. 7.5 becomes 15 halves. 1.5 becomes 3 halves. I feel like I didn't draw. Oh, let's go back to the drawing. I knew I didn't draw this correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So let's go back again. How many groups of 1.5? 1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 group, and 5 groups. So it's going to be 5 groups of 1 and 1/2. How many 3 halves go into 15 halves? We could say 5 groups, that you do in your head, or you just do the reciprocal of it. Keep, change, flip this to 2/3, and you get 30/6 or 5 wholes. So 5 groups of 1.5 go into 7.5. Number 10, Rachel rode her bicycle 32 and 2/10 miles in 1 and 4/10 hours. To find her speed, she divided the distance by the time. So 32 and 2/10. So she's dividing this. So when we divide decimals, I don't want to work with this decimal right here. I want to turn this divisor into a whole number. So how do you turn 1 and 4/10 to 14 as a whole number? You multiply by 10. Or some of you don't want to think that hard. You move the decimal point over. You move the decimal 1 point over. So you have 322 divided by 14. How many groups of 14 go in 32? 2 groups. How many groups of 14 go into 42? I feel like I'm messing up somewhere here. Oh, 4, 8, 12. Oh, so it goes in 3 groups. So our speed is 23 miles per hour. That's for a very fast bicyclist. Very, very fast bicyclist. So if you divide 23 and 2/10 by 1 and 4/10, I move the decimal one place over. I get 322 divided by 14. You get 23 groups of 14. Or how many groups of 1 and 4/10 go into 32 and 2/10? 23 groups of 1 and 4/10. 11. A frozen meal includes 4.2 ounces of applesauce. If Ruth eats 2 frozen meals each week, how many ounces of applesauce will she consume in 4 weeks? So week. So each week she eats 4.2. So she eats 8 jars or containers of applesauce. 33 and 6/10, which is D. So we can multiply that way. Some of you like multiplying by lining up the decimal point like this way. 0, 0, 16, 3 to 1, to 33, 3, 3, 6, 0. How many number of digits are behind the decimal point? 2. So 33 is 6/10. 12. Mr. Stein is purchasing 1 and 2,500 pounds of meat that costs $1.80 per pound. How much change should he receive if he gives the cashier $10? So he buys 1 pound. It will cost him $1.80. However, he only bought 1/4 right here. So is he going to pay a full $1.80 on it? No. So half a pound will cost 90 cents. 1/4 of it will cost 45 cents. So $1.80 plus 45 cents is $2.25. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is we multiply the two numbers. So each pound costs $1.80. So we need to find a quarter of $1.80. So we're going to multiply this. 0, 0, 0. That's 40. 16 plus 4 is 20 carried 2. That's 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. That's 2. That's 1. Add this up. 0, 0, 5, 2, 2, 1. Wait. It's a plus sign. That's why it should be neater. Oh, goodness gracious. 5, 2, 1, 0, 0, 5, 2. 1 second. 0, 0, 0. That's 40 carried a 4. That's 16 plus 4 is 20 carried a 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. Yes. That's 5. That's 2. That's 1. 0, 0, 5, 2. Wait. 0, 0, 5, 2. Ugh. There. 2. I knew that. So 2250. How many digits are behind the decimal point? 4 digits. So it will cost him $2.25. That's why during a test, if you do need grids, please ask for it. Well, it's already taken it, but I will probably say, does anybody need grid paper? So, he gives the cashier $10. The meat costs $2.25. How much money will he get back? Let's look at the choices before we continue. If you look at the choices, A is wrong. C is wrong. So it's either $7.75 or $6.45. Let's regroup. Can you take 5 from 0? Nope, we got to regroup. 9, 10, 5, 7. $7.75. B is the answer. So each pound costs $1.80. If you buy half a pound, it costs you 90 cents. 1/4 of a pound will cost 45 cents. So you spend $2.25. And then if you give them $10, $7.75 is the cost of how much change you'll get back. 13. A lumber yard has a scrap sheet of plywood that is 1 3/4 and 2 1/5 inches. Find the area. To do area, you do length times width. So we're going to multiply 1 3/4 times 2 1/5. You could turn it into a decimal, each one, and then multiply, or we're going to multiply into fraction. Turn this into mixed number to an improper fraction. That's 7/4. This is 11/5, and you get 77/20. How many groups of 20 go into 77? 3 groups. That's 60. 17 is the remainder. So 3 is 17/20. A is the answer. Number 14. Which expression has a value that is not an integer? Again, an integer is a positive or negative whole number. So which of these will not give you a whole number that's positive? I'm going to look at C and D. I'm not going to solve it because I for sure know 15 is a whole number. And if I do this, will I get any decimals out of this or fraction out of this? No. So it's either going to be A or B. But you really want to know? Add the opposite. That's 10. Let's look at A. 1 1/3 is 4/3 divided by 1/3. It's asking how many groups of 1/3 fit into 4/3, negative 4/3. So we do the reciprocal of it. You get 12/3 or 4. That's an integer. That's a positive negative whole number. So it must be B is the answer. It's 4/3 times 1/3, 4/9. Negative 4/9. That is not a whole number, positive or negative. 15. Mr. Atkinson has 4 1/4 pounds of dry fish food. He will put an equal amount into 3 containers. So he has all this. He wants to put some here, some here, some here. How much fish will be each container? Well, C and D are silly answer. He's dividing it. So it's either A or B. So 4 1/2 divided into 3 parts. Turn this into an improper fraction, 9 1/2. We're going to divide 9 1/2 into 3 parts. I can do this in my head right now. It's going to be 3 halves. But let's see why it's 3 halves. Because we have 9 groups of halves divided into 3 groups is 3 halves. But due to reciprocal of 3, it would be 1/3. We get 9/6. We simplify, break it down by 3. 3 halves. Wait, 4 and 1. You know what? I'm looking here and I cannot find it. So some of you may have done this. Did I use the correct number? That's why it's always important to go back and check your work. 4 1/2. That's 4 1/4. So you know what? I'm going to redo this. Because I was looking at my answer choice and say, I don't see it there. So it's 4 1/4. I am going to divide it into 3 groups. So I'm going to change this into an improper fraction with 17/4. So 17/4. What is the reciprocal of 3? 1/3. That's 17/12. How many groups of 12s go in 17? 1. So it's either A or B. 5 12s. So B is the answer. Luckily, I went back to check my work. Number 16. There's a chocolate cake. It is cut into 10 slices. Blake eats 1/5 of the cake. What's 1/5 of 10? Or 10 groups of 1/5? 10/5 or 2? So this is Blake. Donna eats half of it. Half of 10 is 5 slices. Michael eats 1. How many slices? 2, I believe. 1, 2. So it's 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are eaten, 2 are left. And a bonus, given the set of numbers 10, negative 5, 4, 1, and 2500s at negative 2, which are whole number? Whole numbers, 10. So this is test 1-2-1 for pre-A